Well, good evening everyone. Paul Gannon with you here at Carina Speedway in Bundaberg for round 3 of the Withcott Seedlings Trackwell Motor Bodybuilders Modified Production Challenge. And with me I have the pleasure of Russell Baldry, local driver who happens to be Queensland number 1. Russell, first of all, welcome back to your home track. What's the plans for tonight?
Well, the plan will be just to see through the heats and that there, and with the feature, it'll be very black, slick track, so it won't really matter whether you start at the front, but I think if you got the right tyres and that there, and with the amount of laps we got, we should be at the front hopefully in that there, because with the way the track goes, it's very slick and very hard to drive.
Russell, you missed the first couple of rounds through work commitments and you're giving everybody else a flying start, but 200 points up for grabs each Saturday night. How do you think you'll go?
Well, if I can do well tonight, and that there'll definitely put us in a better position than what we are, so hopefully we can win tonight and we'll see what happens after that.
Okay folks, one to watch. Queensland 1 on the side, the Fix-It Auto Wreckers car, Russell Baldry behind the wheel. With me here at Carina Speedway for round 3 is Graham Earhart from Withcott Seedlings, one of the major sponsors of the series. Graham, welcome to Carina Speedway. Thank you very much for your wonderful support. Perhaps you could tell our good viewers exactly what you find so fascinating about modified productions.
Well, Paul, I think it's one of the greatest classes in the country. The class is based around a production sedan car class. Cars are constructed from original chassis. There's controlled tyres and controlled engines and so forth. So the driving's really suited the pants type driving. And if anything, after the first 2 rounds, if the driving tonight's anything like the first 2 rounds, no one could go home disappointed.
Speaking of tonight, I know you would love to be behind the wheel, but that's not the case. Peter Lack's driving the car again tonight. What are your chances up here, you think, on the big long straights at Carina?
Oh, the car will go well. I mean, Peter drove the car here back in June and basically blitzed the field, except we broke a Pennard bar 2 laps from home. Peter loves the place, he loves the track, he's good driver, great driver on a slick track. I think with the temperatures we've had here today, the track will slick off quickly, and I think we can go really hard and well and hopefully bring home the dollars.
Well, for those people who've seen the first 2 rounds, this is the car we'll be watching, 05, the Withcott Seedlings Commodore, and it'll be one to watch again here at Carina. From right here in Bundaberg, so we'll be hoping that the Fix-It Auto Wreckers car will be able to get back out onto the racetrack. Here's car number 98, that's the Raw Auto Wreckers man, is Greg Raymond. That's car number 29 out there as well, is the NZ car from Toowoomba. Car number 76 is Chris Top. Glenn Bayfield is car number 11 from the East Coast Club, which is situated in Brisbane. And the Corvette Queensland car number 6 is Brian Leroy, and he's from Gympie. Okay. We'll pick them up as they go past us right now. Car number 45, Neil Lewis. Shane Skeen behind the wheel of 25. Mark Pagel is in 15. Ed Pearson is car number 4. Car number 2, the Aussie Trackwear car, is Gary Brown. The guys in the modifieds love to be here at Carina, where they can open up on the long straights. Just love to race around here. They can show the outright speed of these cars. He put a good field of modified productions behind the G&T Autos pace car. 10 laps the journey for the modified productions here tonight in the Modified Challenge, brought to you by Withcott Seedlings and Trackwell Motor Bodybuilders. Remember, if you've got one of those Frisbees, you hang on to it, because you could be the winner here tonight. A rev start to build. Warren Hooper's in control. He will lead them down to the green flag. Ed Pearson on the outside. There's a green one and away we go. Warren Hooper gets the best of the jump. Ed Pearson tries to go with him. Greg Raymond is right through in position number 2. Here comes Mark Ferguson as well. It gets very, very tight down the back chute. Warren Hooper is the race leader. Greg Raymond is the next one. Mark Ferguson tucked in there in the colour fast car number 42 in front of Peter Lack, number 05. Next one there will be Brian Leroy, Shane Skeen, and getting shuffled right to the back and unable to get down on the race line is Ed Pearson in car number 4. Greg Raymond's gone past Warren Hooper. Here comes Mark Ferguson as well. Warren Hooper fights back down on the inside, but to no avail. And they've got him up high on the racetrack, and from there he'll go backwards as they all join in nose to tail and all slip by Warren Hooper before he can get back on the race line. Greg Raymond is the race leader. That's the Karoy Auto Wreckers Falcon in front of Mark Ferguson in car number 42. Peter Lack is in the Withcott Seedlings car number 05, and right behind them all in the Corvette Queensland car is Brian Leroy. A bit of a gap back then to Warren Hooper doing battles with Shane Skeen and Ed Pearson. Here comes Peter Lack down on the inside of Mark Ferguson, who shuts the door on him as they arrive at turn number 1. Brian Leroy sitting right behind, waiting for an opportunity. While this is happening, have a look where Greg Raymond is. Said, see you later, fellas. Mark Ferguson, Peter Lack, Brian Leroy battle out position 2, 3 and 4. Here comes Peter Lack straight up on the inside of Mark Ferguson as he backed off for turn 1. Leaves him up high and dry. Brian Leroy will go with him as they arrive at turn number 3. Peter Lack settles down now in the Holden to chase the Falcon of Greg Raymond. Back in position number 3 is Brian Leroy. Mark Ferguson would be the next one. A good gap back then to Warren Hooper in front of Shane Skeen and Ed Pearson. Greg Raymond is the race leader. Peter Lack won't give in. He'll chase him all the way. Brian Leroy is in position number 3, and right in behind him is Mark Ferguson. The next one, as we said, is Warren Hooper, Shane Skeen and Ed Pearson. Through turn 4, it's Greg Raymond holding his lead over Peter Lack. Brian Leroy unable to stay on the tail of Peter Lack. The next one would be Mark Ferguson. Up the back chute they go as Shane Skeen has a little bit of a look down on the inside of Warren Hooper, but it was only a little look as Warren Hooper streets away. The white flag is out. Mark Raymond Comfortable leader with about half a lap to go. Shane Skeen has a look again underneath Warren Hooper, no good. Here's heat number 1 winner, Greg Raymond, in car number 29, in front of Peter Lack. The next one, Ryan Leroy, in front of Mark Ferguson. We go back to Warren Hooper, Shane Skeen across the line, and Ed Pearson. We've seen him do it here a lot of times at Carina. Put your hands together, folks. The man from Karoi Auto Wreckers, Greg Raymond, continues to lead the modified productions. Heat number 1 winner. The point scores. Outside of him in car number 11 from the East Coast Club is Glenn Bayfield. Michael Halley, the Halley concreting car. Ford Wreckers car down at Redcliffe is car number 98. Mark Pagel is the Highway 1 car. That's the Dots carpet car from Gympie, car number 15, and Todd Doyle is in car number 7 out of Gympie. That's the Redford Better Electrical car at the tail of the field. The one's missing, Steve Price and Alan Hazelwood from Mackay not making an appearance. Points in this one, so he can stay in touch with the leaders. He's car number 2, Glenn Bayfield is the East Coast car number 11. Watch Michael Halley in the big Falcon, one of the real chargers in the modified productions, and of course Todd Doyle and Mark Pagel. There's a green one, and it's nose to tail stuff as they head to the first corner. Gary Brown is the race leader. Michael Halley is right on his hammer, and here comes Todd Doyle through into position number 3, and Mark Pagel will follow them. Tailed out at the moment is Glenn Bayfield as they put 1 lap of the journey. Is car number 2 and Michael Halley in the Falcon. Next one is Todd Doyle, and they've opened up a bit of a gap over Mark Pagel and Glenn Bayfield through the canteen corner. Gary Brown making it look very easy out in front. Michael Halley is right on his hammer, and Todd Doyle as well. They've both got, all of them have got the right foot pushed right through the floor. Down the back chute they go and into the canteen corner again. Gary Brown is the race leader in front of Michael Halley. Back there behind him, Todd Doyle would be the next one, car number 7. They've dropped off Mark Pagel a little bit, and Glenn Bayfield to the tail of the field. Gary Brown is still the race leader. He knows he can't move offline. Here comes Michael Halley. Overdid things a little bit behind him. He knows Todd Doyle is there. Gets himself offline. He'll have to battle to hold on to position 2. This allows Gary Brown to skip away a little bit in the race lead. Michael Halley is hard at it in position 2. Todd Doyle is on his hammer. Back. And they've dropped off Glenn Bayfield completely. Michael Halley gets high again. Todd Doyle sees a little bit of open space, can't do anything about it as they head down the back chute yet again. Gary Brown. Michael Halley comes charging at him through turns 3 and 4. Up the main. Todd Doyle has a look underneath. Gary Brown is the race leader. Michael Halley and Todd Doyle battling out 2 and 3. Mark Pagel back there in position 4, and car number 11 is Glenn Bayfield. Through the turn 4, through the canteen corner, Gary Brown. Michael Halley has got his hands full with Todd Doyle, who can almost get level but can't get by. Back then we go to Mark Pagel, and a long way back is Glenn Bayfield as through the canteen corner again for Gary Brown. Shoot he goes, Michael Halley. Todd Doyle would be the next one, Mark Pagel and Glenn Bayfield as they head down the back chute yet again. The white flag out, Gary Brown's got 1 more lap to go. He's got him covered from here, I'd say. To turn number 1, Michael Halley is in second place. Todd Doyle can't get close enough. Back then to Mark Pagel and a long way back to Glenn Bayfield. But here's winner of heat number 2 coming through the canteen corner. That's the Brisbane car number 2. Gary Brown in front of Michael Halley. Gets the car across the line in front of Mark Pagel, and Glenn Bayfield, the last one to greet the judge. Well, hopefully nothing wrong there for Todd Doyle. The car dying right at the end. Put your hands together, folks. The man from Brisbane. The Aussie track where car number 2, Gary Brown, takes the major points in that one. Russell Baldry would be the next one in front of Neil Lewis. Then we go back to Steve Collins and Sean Ayres at the tail. The NZ Commodore leading them a merry dance at the moment. The Blackburn Performance, Cortina number 22, Steve Jordan. Right behind and still not sounding all that best, or at its best, is car number 1, the Fix-It Auto Wreckers car out of Bundaberg. That's Russell Baldry. Neil Lewis is in the Falcon, car number 45, and he holds on to position number 4. They've cleared right out from Sean Ayres and Steve Collins. It's the man from Toowoomba, the NZ car number 76, Chris Top. He's got them covered at the moment. The Roma car of Steve Jordan. He's the point score leader. He's hot on his hammer. Car number 1 right behind him will be Russell Baldry. Then we go back to Neil Lewis as they head down the back chute yet again. Getting out of line is Chris Top. Here comes Steve Jordan. Only one mistake is all you need. And Steve Jordan cannot believe his luck and goes straight into the race lead. Chris Top got it offline heading into turn number 3. Steve Jordan was right there. Takes the Blackburn Performance engine car into the race lead in front of Chris Top. The next one in all sorts of engine trouble is Russell Baldry, and then Neil Lewis is closing the gap on him. Back then to Sean Ayres and Steve Collins, but moving away now. Down the back chute is car number 22, Steve Jordan. He's the point score leader in the challenge, and this is why leads them a merry dance. Main chute over Chris Top. Russell Baldry in a very sick motor car is in 3rd place. Neil Lewis would be the next one, Sean Ayres. Then we go back to Steve Collins. Russell Baldry doing everything he can to stay on the racetrack, but the car's dying on him. Race leader, Steve Jordan, opened up a good enough lead to take this one out, I think. Chris Top will have to be happy with position number 2. Russell Baldry has cooked it on the last corner, allowing Neil Lewis to get across the line. Sean Ayres will finish in position number 4. In front of Steve Collins. Well, he was only 60 metres from a 3rd place. The car sounding dreadful. 033. They have got every part for every make and model of car. Carroy Auto Wreckers. Greg Raymond is the man. See? You can even send him an email at g29@bigpond.com. Winner in the first round, Steve Jordan right at the back, as is Neil Lewis. This is a great field of modified productions. We've got the Queensland champion and 5 others who would be the Queensland champion. Steve Collins on the outside, he's in the hot seat. Todd Doyle, he'll know he's got to stay low. Steve Jordan coming through, and away we go. 10 laps the journey. Russell Baldry leads them into turn number 1. Todd Doyle would be the next one. Here comes Steve Jordan. Gary Brown getting through, along with Neil Lewis at the tail of the field. And car number 43 is Steve Collins as they go through the canteen corner for the first time. Queensland number 1 on the roof is Russell Baldry. Right on his hammer. The better electrical car out of Gympie is Todd Doyle. The Blackburn engine performance car number 22 is Steve Blackburn. Has a little bit of a look down the inside. Brown. That's the Aussie Trackwear car. Neil Lewis trying to get through on Steve Collins to get up into the major placings. Is successful in turn number 2 through the canteen corner. The Holden. Wreckers car number 9. Russell Baldry. Todd Doyle has got a battle on his hand with Steve Jordan. Gary Brown would be the next one. Todd Doyle in trouble again, pulls the car to the top of the track. Allows Steve Jordan through. Gary Brown is up to position number 3, the next one. Steve Collins goes by as well, so no luck tonight for Todd Doyle. 2 times the car has died on him as we go back to the race leader. That's Russell Baldry, and he's got it sounding sweet this time. Steve Jordan, the point score leader, chases him. Gary Brown won out the first round of heats. He's in position 3, and Neil Lewis is a distant 4th. Steve Collins is car number 43. Down the main chute yet again for Russell Baldry. Got a fairly comfortable lead over Steve Jordan. Then we go back to Gary Brown. And a big gap back then to Neil Lewis. And Steve Collins. Russell Baldry holding them at bay. If anything, may have increased his lead just a little bit over Steve Jordan. Gary Brown is back there in position number 3, and he doesn't seem to be able to close the gap on Steve Jordan. And then back to Neil Lewis. Tailed off at the moment is Steve Collins. And just as we talk, the car's gone sour on him again. Russell Baldry, can he keep it together? He's only got 1 lap. Can he hold it together? Steve Jordan's right on his hammer. Will the fix-it car stay together for him for long enough? Down the back chute, Gary Brown looks on the outside. Steve Jordan's out there. Russell Baldry holding on. Can he do it? Can he hold on and take it out? And he does. As Steve Jordan on the outside, Gary Brown down the inside. Neil Lewis completes the journey, as does Steve Collins. Well, put your hands together for him, people from Bundaberg. He's your own local lad. The car just won't keep going for him. But he got it across the line to take the major points. Cars roll around for heat number 2 of the second round. Mark Pagel, the Highway 1 car, the Dots Carpet car out of Gympie. Michael Halley, Halley's concreting car, car number 98, the Big Blue Falcon. Corvette Queensland car is Brian Leroy, that's car number 6. Peter Lack, the Withcott Seedlings, Commodore 05 out of Toowoomba. Ed Pearson is back in the Pearson Drilling car number 4. We were just talking about Karoi Auto Wreckers, and there's the man himself, Greg Raymond. And Chris Topp is right at the tail of this field, and this is a class field of modified productions. One of the big performers, Peter Lack, there as well. He's holding second place at the moment in the point score. Greg Raymond had a win the first time out. And Chris Top there as well. Eddie Pearson is the other car, number 4. Away we go as the light turns green and into turn number 1, and there's plenty of action. Here comes Brian Leroyd. Takes advantage. Greg Raymond from the tail of the field. Michael Halley is in trouble. That's car number 98. What a great start from Brian Leroyd and Greg Raymond. Raymond was out of 6. It's a Modified Production Challenge t-shirt, and if you're close enough here on the main straight, you can see the t-shirt, along with a Trackwell hat and a Withcott Seedlings cap. So a great prize, and all you got to do is have the lucky frisbee. We're just about ready to start again. 10 laps the journey. Another good start on the outside this time. Michael Halley is not going to get left behind. There's plenty of biff and barge as they go through turn number 1 and 2. Here comes Brian Leroyd up the inside. Michael Halley has bolted out into the race lead. Mark Pagel throws the car sideways, gets Brian Leroyd up on the inside of him, who parks him up on the fence. Well, both cars out of Gympie, but no love lost on the racetrack. But he's back there in position number 6 to do it all again. See if he can do it for 3 times. And Mark Pagel, it looks like, been adjudged by the stewards at fault and has been sent to the rear. Watch for a green one, and let's see if we can get going this time, and away we do. Brian Leroyd gets the best of the jump over Michael Halley, and here comes Peter Lack at a great rate of knots into position number 2. Michael Halley gets shuffled back. Into position 3, one in trouble is Eddie Pearson. Gets it going in the right direction as Mark Pagel, with a lot of smoke out of the back of the Highway 1 car, and we've lost Greg Raymond onto the infield. Race leader is indeed Peter Lack in front of Brian Leroyd. Michael Halley would be the next one, and Mark Pagel getting the mechanical flag with lots of smoke coming out of the back of the car. Chris Top gets it all out of shape and wallops the wall down the back chute, and Eddie Pearson gets through on him. We get back to the race leader. That's Peter Lack. He would be counting the points here because he's only a handful of points away from Steve Jordan. He's the race leader over Brian Leroyd. The next one is Michael Halley. Eddie Pearson getting it all wrong coming onto the main straightaway, and Chris Top, who's not having any luck this time out. Peter Lack, the Withcott Seedlings car, running away with it. Brian Leroyd would be the next one, and Michael Halley. Chris Top's got it all wrong again. Gets it back on the racetrack in front of Eddie Pearson. We pick up the race leader, and he's moving right away from Brian Leroyd. Michael Halley, Chris Top and Ed Pearson. Peter Lack just running away with this one. This is the Withcott Seedlings Commodore. Was the feature race winner at Maryborough. And now just driving away. Brian Leroyd holds on to second place in front of Michael Halley. Chris Top and Ed Pearson. Peter Lack, I think, might have taken the foot out of it a little bit. Here comes Michael Halley down the inside of Brian Leroyd. The two of them arrive at turn number 1. And Michael Halley goes into position 2, gets out of line. Brian Leroyd is in trouble too with the car and pulls it straight onto the infield. So dropping like flies this time around with mechanical trouble. Looks like Chris Top in some sort of trouble as well. Checkered flag time though for Peter Lack. Michael Halley across the line. Chris Top with a flat tyre completes the journey. And Ed Pearson it'll be, he'll take out the third place points. Peter Lack comes to where they want to go. Mark Ferguson, the colour fast car. That's number 42. No Colin Munn. Sean Ayres. No car 19 as well. Glenn Bayfield up there in car number 11. Steve Price. And the extra car in the pack, of course, is Shane Skeen, car number 25. 10 laps the journey. This is heat number 6. Mark Ferguson leads them around. Green flag and away we go, and Mark Ferguson it is who gets the jump over Glenn Bayfield as Warren Hooper moves down on the inside and Shane Skeen is there as well. Glenn Bayfield is car number 11 as he gets a little bit of a hurry along from Shane Skeen. And Steve Price at the back of the pack, as we said, in a brand new motor car. A little bit of action in turn number 2. The boys getting a little bit excited. And I think it's because Warren Hooper's got some mechanical problems with the car. Well, not looking good again for the modified productions as Warren Hooper takes the car onto the infield. That's the Shoreline Transport car. Leaves Mark Ferguson out in front in car number 42. That's the colour fast Cortina. And he's a clear leader over Shane Skeen, Glenn Bayfield and Steve Price. Pick up the race leader again. He's in the canteen corner. Mark Ferguson. Shane Skeen. And they've dropped off Glenn Bayfield at the moment. And Steve Price with the boot lid slowly lifting on the back of the new car. Here's our race leader, Mark Ferguson. Lead Shane Skeen, Glenn Bayfield, and one in trouble in the new car now. Steve Price, a little bit of smoke out of the back of it. In fact, Steve Price may be pulling up down the back. He's slowing right down, but the race leader, no problems at all. One to go for him as he moves underneath Steve Price. Shane Skehan on the infield as well. Well, I don't know what happened during the round 2 of the modified productions, but Pam won't be finding the lap scoring too difficult. 5482 2355. They're right on the highway. Action City Motors, Ford, Nissan, and Mitsubishi. Is East Coast 43. So Warren Hooper succumbing to some mechanical problem, as has Mark Pagel. So only 4 cars. And this should be a match race then between Peter Lack and Gary Brown. Down the back chute for the first time, and it's Peter Lack. Gary Brown tucked in behind him. Glenn Bayfield and Steve Collins. At the moment, the only action is back there in 3 when Glenn Bayfield almost turned it around. Steve Collins somehow found a way underneath and got up into position 3. Race leader, that's the Withcott man, Peter Lack. Gary Brown, Steve Collins almost overdoes things. And Glenn Bayfield. Race leader, Peter Lack. Up the main straightaway he goes. Gary Brown out for the drive behind him. And Steve Collins it'll be, as Glenn Bayfield gets it all wrong again in car number 11, who'll hold on to position number 3. Peter Lack up the back chute. Through the canteen corner, and he's just out there having a bit of a drive, I think. Gary Brown quite content to sit there in second place. Steve Collins is a very, very distant third. And Glenn Bayfield also has turned it around in front of the field. Peter Lack goes around the outside of him. Well, looks like the checkered flag shown as the white flag was coming out. And that'll be a win to the Withcott Seedlings Commodore in the hands of Peter Lack, and he'll be adding up points because he knows he's only a few points behind Steve Jordan after 2 rounds, up in the points as well, and he'll take those second place points. Thank you very much. And Petro Fuels into Toowoomba and Kingaroy bringing you this round. It's heat number 8. Brian Leroy has got the car back together. He's got Steve Price, Steve Jordan. He'll be looking for some major points. Chris Top, well, according to my program, should be starting out of 5, but he's up there in 2. And Russell Baldry. Let's hope they've got the engine problems sorted out, because there's points up for grabs here. 5 cars, 5 good cars. All of them have suffered some mechanical problem throughout the night. Watch for the charge from the front. There's a green one and away we go. Brian Leroy gets the best of the jump, and Chris Top tries to tuck in behind in second place, and Steve Blackburn says, no you don't. Russell Baldry comes charging through as well. So Brian Leroy is the race leader, but he's got Steve Jordan all over him. Like fleas on a dog. He's all over the back of him. He looks up on the inside, pulls up level with the back door, can't do it that time around. Russell Baldry would be the next one as Brian Leroy gets it out of shape, tries to get it back on the race line. Steve Jordan tucked hard in behind him. Then we've got Russell Baldry with Chris Top and Steve Price tailed out at the moment as they come through the canteen corner. Yet again, the track has gone very hard and slick, and Brian Leroy having some problems keeping the car in line. Has got Steve Jordan working away behind him, gets up level as they go through turn 2, can't do it that time. Settles in behind him down the back chute. Into canteen corner, the Corvette Queensland Commodore goes too high. Steve Jordan's got him this time as they head down the main chute. Brian Leroy fights back on the outside, not to no avail, as Steve Jordan inherits the race lead down the back chute. Brian Leroy tries to get it back online into position 2. He's now got Russell Baldry working away on him. Gets through into position number 2. Then's Chris Top. And they've shuffled Leroy back to position number 4. And Steve Price at the back. The track going very hard and very slick. You can hear the tyres screaming for mercy. Russell Baldry now hot on the hammer of Steve Jordan. Chris Top's not finished yet. And Brian Leroy. And the other car is Steve Price. Through the canteen corner, Steve Jordan. Russell Baldry. Chris Top, Brian Leroy. And a long way back then to Steve Price. Down the back chute. Steve Jordan. He's starting to count another handful of points in this one. Russell Baldry. Chris Top. Brian Leroy right on their hammer as they go through turn 2. Down the back chute. And into the canteen corner. Steve Jordan takes the white flag and only one to go for him. In front of Russell Baldry. Chris Top hard on his boot lid. Can't do anything about it. Brian Leroy back in 4th, and Steve Price into the canteen corner for the last time. And the point score leader as we started here in Bundaberg takes out the heat. In front of Russell Baldry, Chris Top, Brian Leroy, and Steve Price, the last one to greet the judge. Steve Jordan, as we said at the start of the night, as we started here at Carina Speedway, Steve Jordan was the point score leader in the furniture range. Chris is the man to talk to. 54839322. And I know we're a long way from home, but thank you very much to Chris and his great support. This is our last heat. And Greg Raymond, flat tyre last time round, has got the Carroy Auto Wreckers Falcon out there off pole. He's got Eddie Pearson behind him. Mark Ferguson had a win in the last round of heats. Car number 45 there is Neil Lewis and Michael Halley at the tail. Okay, so we got some very, very fast modified productions out there on the track. As the G&T Autos pace car gets out of the road. Greg Raymond has one win already tonight. Mark Ferguson outside of him has a win also. Ed Pearson, Neil Lewis, Michael Halley. There's the green one and away we go as they head down the main straightaway and into turn number 1. Greg Raymond is the race leader. Here comes Michael Halley with a blistering run up the inside as they head down the back chute. Move straight into position number 2 and set sail after Greg Raymond. The one sticking with him on the outside is Mark Ferguson. Then we go back to Ed Pearson and Neil Lewis tailed off at the moment. Ed Pearson having a few problems getting it through turn number 1 and 2 as the car oversteers completely. Another one in trouble too is Mark Ferguson trying to get it going around the right way as Neil Lewis turns the car around in front of Eddie Pearson, and somehow Ed Pearson missed him. Gets it going again from the infield. Up the front. Greg Raymond versus Michael Halley, who gives him a little bit of a nudge just to remind him he's there. Into the canteen corner. Michael Halley right up alongside says thank you and takes the Halley Concrete Falcon into the race lead over Greg Raymond. The next one would be Mark Ferguson. Back to Eddie Pearson and Neil Lewis. At the race lead, Michael Halley. The Halley Concreting Falcon, as Neil Lewis has done it again in the same place. And wouldn't you know it? Now, on lots of occasions, folks, drivers will sit there and wait for the light, but I can tell you I was watching Neil Lewis. He was trying desperately to get the car started. The field after a couple of spins is Neil Lewis. So it's the earlier model Falcon. Michael Halley behind the wheel. Okay, watch for the restart. There's a green one and away we go. Greg Raymond, Michael Halley, Mark Ferguson, they've skipped straight away from the other two cars. Down the back chute yet again. We'll watch Neil Lewis this time through the canteen corner. See how he goes. I think he's got it right this time and he gets it around. So Greg Raymond is the race leader. Down on the inside of him is Michael Halley. Back then to Mark Ferguson. Ed Pearson would be the next one. And Neil Lewis through the canteen corner. Michael Halley. He's about halfway up the door that time. Neil Lewis has got through the canteen corner twice in a row. Can he make it 3? Up the back chute, the race leader. Greg Raymond just in front of Michael Halley. Here comes Halley again, straight underneath, as clean as a whistle. On the white flag, Greg Raymond tucks underneath in turn 1. Can't do it. Michael Halley on the outside. Down the back chute he goes. Into the canteen corner for the last time. Michael Halley, Greg Raymond, Mark Ferguson. And Ed Pearson, with Neil Lewis only getting a half of the way around that time. Well, Michael Halley had to do it twice. Put your hands together for him, folks. The Halley Concreting Falcon. Car number 98 from the Caboolture Club. In front of Karoy Auto Wreckers, car number 29, Greg Raymond. Direct to the farmer. And we'd like to say thank you to Australian Vine Ripened Tomatoes right here in Bundaberg, because they're the people who supply the canteens with the tomatoes, and Withcott Seedlings are the people who supply Australian Vine Ripened Tomatoes with those little tomato seedlings. And they finally end up right here at Carina Speedway on your hamburger. And Trackwell Motor Bodybuilders, they're approved engineering tradesperson in coach and motor bodybuilding, specialising in chassis modifications. They can do just about anything that you want with your motor vehicle. Make it look like something that you would be really proud of. And as we pick them up, 25 laps the journey, Withcott Seedlings, Peter Lack. Behind the wheel of the 05 car, outside of him, car number 22, Steve Jordan. These are the positions 1 and 2 on the point scores before we started here tonight. Michael Halley is car number 98. That's the Michael Halley Concreting Falcon. He's had a big night. Outside of him, someone, as we said, always at the front of the field, car number 2, the Aussie trackwear car, Gary Brown, out of Brisbane. He starts outside of that second row. Chris Top, he will go better as the race progresses. 25 laps, a long, long way. Mark Ferguson, the Colourfast car, number 42, also out of Brisbane. Karoy Auto Wreckers, the man who's been the benchmark, I guess, for modified production racing for a long, long time. Greg Raymond is car number 29, and he's got the current Queensland champion. Outside of him, that's the Fixit Auto Wreckers car from right here in Bundaberg. And Russell Baldry behind the wheel. Glenn Bayfield is car number 11 out of the East Coast Club in Brisbane. The Logan City bus car number 45, that's Neil Lewis behind the wheel. Steve Collins is in car number 43. Car number 4, the Pearson drilling car of Eddie Pearson. The Corvette Queensland car is Brian Leroyd. Car number 25 is Shane Skeen. The Highway 1 car, the Dots Carpet car, out of Gympie, number 15 is Mark Pagel. And right at the back is Steve Price in the brand new motor car. The paint was still wet when it turned up here at Carina tonight. We've got 25 laps. The lights have gone out. There's a green flag waiting for them. People in turn 1, here they come. On the outside, Steve Jordan gets carried up by Peter Lack. Left out to dry 2 is Gary Brown as they head down the back chute for the first time. Peter Lack is the race leader. Steve Jordan right in there on their hammer. Here's Chris Top. Michael Halley. Peter Lack's gone wide on turn 1. Shuts the door on Steve Jordan in 2. Down the back chute. Chris Top having a look around the outside. Michael Halley down on the inside. Greg Raymond is in trouble on the main straightaway and tries to get out of harm's way, but takes Mark Ferguson with him up onto the infield. One on the infield down the back chute was Brian Leroyd. The lights are on. We've got Steve Price. It's making some funny noises as it goes past me. So that's not good. Okay, the lights are out, so it looks like we've sorted them out. Bit of bumper-to-bumper stuff towards the back of the pack. Peter Lack, he'll know about turn 1 and 2 this time. Steve Jordan. And they skip straight away from Chris Top. Michael Halley having a look underneath Chris Top. Straight away on the restart, we go back to Mark Ferguson. The next one is Gary Brown. Neil Lewis is in there along with Russell Baldry. Eddie Pearson would be the next one. Mark Pagel, Shane Skehan. Brian Leroyd works his way through to Steve Collins and Glenn Bayfield at the front of the pack. Peter Lack, the Withcott Seedlings car. He loves to be up there. He's in front. Steve Jordan doing everything he knows back there in position number 2. Chris Top gets it out of shape. Here comes Michael Halley up into position number 3. Back then to Mark Ferguson and Gary Brown. Neil Lewis, Russell Baldry, Ed Pearson, Mark Pagel, Shane Skehan, Brian Leroyd, Steve Collins and Glenn Bayfield. Steve Jordan coming under the attention of Michael Halley. At the moment, Peter Lack is the race leader. Steve Jordan, Michael Halley, Chris Top, Mark Ferguson and Gary Brown. They've cleared out from the rest. Here comes Michael Halley. Up underneath Steve Jordan. Side by side into turn 3. Jordan shuts the door on him. Michael Halley wants another go. Up the main straight away. Peter Lack has got a huge lead. Steve Jordan, Michael Halley all over him. Gives him a nice old whack in the back. Gets him out of shape. Moves to the outside. Tries to go round the outside and does so. Steve Jordan, Chris Top, Mark Ferguson, Gary Brown, Neil Lewis and Russell Baldry. Ed Pearson calls it a day and parks it. Mark Pagel has done the same. Peter Lack's the race leader. Gary Brown having a little look underneath. Mark Ferguson can't do it that time. Steve Jordan now coming under the grips of Chris Top. Mark Ferguson moves high. Gary Brown goes under him. The next one behind him is Russell Baldry, who's got by Neil Lewis. Shane Skehan has stopped and trying to get off the racetrack and has done so with a flat tyre. Race leader, here he comes onto the main straight away. Peter Lack in front of Michael Halley. Then the action is back there for third money. Steve Jordan, Chris Top, Gary Brown, Mark Ferguson, Russell Baldry and Neil Lewis. That's where the action is. Position number 3, Steve Jordan. He's struggling to hold them at bay as again Russell Baldry has succumbed to mechanical problems. Back shoot. Coming underneath Chris Top is Gary Brown. Moves him out of the way. He's the next one to have a go at Steve Jordan. Race leaders halfway down the back chute and into the hairpin. He's put a lap on Glenn Bayfield. Michael Halley chasing from position 2. Steve Jordan struggling to hold on to 3. Gary Brown now wants a bit of the action. Chris Top, Mark Ferguson hard on his hammer and Neil Lewis. Long way back then to Brian Leroyd. We'll concentrate on position number 3. Steve Jordan. He's got Gary Brown all over him. Here comes Gary Brown up the inside. Can't do it. Chris Top back right behind him. Steve Jordan makes an error in turn number 1 and Gary Brown gets through into position number 3. So now in third, Gary Brown. in front of Steve Jordan. The next one is Chris Top. Mark Ferguson is still there. Neil Lewis, Brian Leroyd. And the next one around on the racetrack is the race leader, Peter Lack. Michael Halley chasing him. They're coming up on Glen Bayfield. A whole field of cars right behind Glen Bayfield. First one through, Gary Brown. He moves over and lets them go. Next one through will be Steve Jordan. He gets by safely. In trouble is Chris Top and onto the infield. Mark Ferguson moves up one more. Then we go back to Neil Lewis, Brian Leroyd. Down the main chute again, Peter Lack. I don't think Michael Halley is closing the gap at all. Russell Baldry's back on the racetrack, but he's down a lap or two. Peter Lack, Michael Halley, Gary Brown. Moved away a little bit from Steve Jordan, Mark Ferguson. The next one would be Neil Lewis, who's got Brian Leroyd now right on his hammer. Perhaps Michael Halley has closed the gap ever so slightly, as Brian Leroyd has moved up one position through the canteen corner, and Michael Halley is slowly rolling him in. Back in third place, Gary Brown in front of Steve Jordan. Next one is Mark Ferguson. Then we've got Brian Leroyd, Neil Lewis, race leader, Peter Lack, Michael Halley. Can he do it? Michael Halley is slowly getting in closer and closer to the race leader. Gary Brown is a distant third. Steve Jordan, he's closed the gap again. There's only one lap to go. Peter Lack, he's got one lap of Carina to go. Michael Halley, what a great chase, but he won't be able to do it. Down the back chute for the last time. Peter Lack coming around to take the checkered flag. Had a big win over Michael Halley. Gary Brown, it will be a distant third. In front of Steve Jordan, Mark Ferguson, the next one home, Brian Leroyd. We'd then have Neil Lewis. Put your hands together, folks. Modified Production Racing. Michael Halley, what an effort. He just would not give in. Peter Lack is the winner and will do his lap of honour. As he goes around, folks, put your hands together for him. Peter Lack from the Withcott Seedlings has made it 2 feature races. Fire. As he comes around, can we have the trophy? And as always, trophy winner time. Hang on, Peter. This makes 2. Winner of the Withcott Seedlings round here in Bundaberg. We'll just wait till Peter gets his helmet off. Peter Lack, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, Peter. 2 from 2. How does it feel?
Mate, this is unbelievable. You know, to have to come into this class and do so well, I didn't expect to do as good as we did. So a great credit to the Withcott Seedlings Track World rounds. I've got to thank Wendy and Graham Urquhart from Withcott Seedlings. It's a terrific car. It's just a terrific team. You know, all the crew that put in the effort during the week, you know, that's where it counts. And on the night, you know, they just worked all night. So thanks to all the other drivers. It's been a great race. I've really enjoyed it, and I can't wait till the next one. Thank you.
Next one, of course, is Lismore. A little bit tighter than this. What's the idea of the donut stuff?
A bit excited.
Okay, there he is, folks. Withcott Seedlings, car number 05 from the Downs, Peter Lack. Second home in the event was Michael Halley. And put your hands together, folks, for Michael. Just would not give in, chased as hard as he could. And third home as well, great drive to Brisbane-based Gary Brown. So that's the finals. Is David Carlisle, who was the last car out there. A little bit difficult to see the number on the car, but it's on the front wing. David Carlisle is car number 123. So that'll be a headache for the lap scorers. We'll see how they have lined up, and in fact car number 34, Matthew Selke, is the one that has taken pole position for the start of the event. Round they come. Watch for a green one. We're underway this time. Away and racing. And straight onto the infield was David Carlisle, in fact. With the chain coming straight off the car, dragging along behind it. So at the moment we've got Matthew Selke in the race lead and Gary Edwards in position number 2. Settling into third place is Nathan Pronger with Mick Pronger right behind. So a good battle developing up at the front of the field. As around the outside comes Gary Edwards. Brave drive to go into the race lead over Matthew Selke, who is also now passed by Nathan Pronger. We got one in trouble. In fact, we got two in trouble in turn number 2. Turning it around was Matthew Selke. All the cars restarted. One in trouble right at the back is Tony Schmidt, having some problems getting the car mobile. And they're away and racing again. Gary Edwards still the race leader. He's got both Prongers behind him. That's Nathan first and then Michael Pronger the next one. In trouble up the infield, car number 30 is Tony Schmidt, and he pulls out of the way. The race is virtually in 3 with at the moment Gary Edwards. The race leader, here comes Mick Pronger up on the inside, as does Nathan Pronger, gets into the race lead. Mick Pronger goes with him as Gary Edwards has got some problems with the car as well. So not a good start for the Formula 500s because Matthew Jordan is also having trouble keeping the car going. So it's down to a match race between Nathan and Mick Pronger. And at the moment, young Nathan's got the advantage. Mick Pronger sitting in behind. And the only other car still circulating is Matthew Jordan. Mick Pronger fights for that lead position, doesn't want the young guy to beat him home. Nathan holding him at bay at the moment. Here comes Mick underneath. Moves young Nathan up out of the road in the last corner. Side by side, give it a dead heat. Mick Pronger and Nathan Pronger give it a dead heat as far as I'm concerned. The young fellow did all he could. But the old wiry fox behind Mick Pronger has a car 58. That's Matthew Jordan, sorry. We're going straight on to the second round of heats. Formula 500s back out again. Had a few mechanical problems the first time out, the little cars. Looks like car number 85, Gary Edwards. Holes down pole. Away and racing. Gary Edwards it was who actually got the best of the start. And tucking straight in behind him was Mike Pronger. Nathan Pronger would be the next one in car number 43. And 34 is Matthew Selke. And they have cleared out from the rest of the field. Tony Schmidt would be the next car in front of Carolyn. And at the tail is Matthew Jordan. We pick up the race leader through the canteen corner. Mick Pronger has set sail out in the fresh air by himself. Gary Edwards is back in position number 2. The next one behind him would indeed be Nathan Pronger. Gary Edwards in trouble with the car again, pulling it to a halt, car number 85. That would allow Matthew Selke probably a chance to get up into a major placing. But Mick Pronger making it look very easy out in front. He heads down the back chute and Nathan Pronger in a little bit of trouble up against the fence. Car number 30 gets onto the inside. Checkered flag time for Mick Pronger. Too good for the opposition in front of Nathan Pronger. Well, they've reversed the finishing order this time, and Nathan Pronger getting home in front of Mick Pronger that time. The Easter weekend, the modified production national title will be conducted. Cars coming from Western Australia, all states, Western Australia, South Australia, including Tasmania, up to Toowoomba to do battle for the national title. Nathan Pronger, and they'll be out at hammer and tong out the front. Rolling around for the start. The lights ready. Green flag being shown. Watch cars 42 and 43 from the back. And away. And as predicted, straight into the race lead. It's Nathan Pronger leading Mick. Back in third place will be Matthew Selke. Into the canteen corner, and it's young Nathan as Mick overcooks it a little bit. Matthew Selke is still chasing in third place. Nathan Pronger getting held up a little bit with the lap traffic. Now he gets clear because here comes Mike. Will he do him right at the end? Nathan Pronger holding on. Mick Pronger is going to finish behind him. Matthew Selkirk into third place. Well done to Nathan Pronger. Street Sedans roll out for their feature. .25 is Michael Tudman making his way up to his position. 45 is Scott Manser. That's the little Datsun. 21 in there is Bradley Peterson. Looks like they'll do a lap before they get underway. Give us a chance to run through. Bruce Thompson in car number 38. Dale Grother is car number 24. 46 is Mick Manson, the car with the wing will be Rob McKay. Car number 28 is Dennis Booth. Car number 13 is Jeff Jenkins. Andrew McCormack should be there in 71, and he is, and it's Tim Gaffel who makes up the field in car number 91. This is the improved sedans. Jeff Shearer in the Fix-It Auto Wreckers car number 32 will lead them down to the judge. And away and racing for the first time in the improved productions, with Jeff Shearer in the Falcon leading them into the first corner. One in trouble was in fact Michael Tudman, who's gone straight to the back of the pack. Will pick up Jeff Shearer, the race leader, over Bradley Peterson, who's being hotly pursued at the moment in car number 45, that's Scott Manser. Also coming through is Dale Grother in car number 24. So good battle developing for position number 2. All this while is out in front is Jeff Shearer. Bradley Peterson coming under a lot of pressure now from Scott Manson. The one on the outside in the Cortina, number 24 is Dale Grother. So they're side by side as they arrive at turn number 1. Bradley Peterson holding them at bay at the moment. They're coming up on Tim Gaffel to put a lap on him very quickly. Jeff Shearer goes around the outside. Next one will be Bradley Peterson. He goes around the outside. 24 has got up to third. Dale Grother has a look down the inside. Bradley Peterson closes the door on him. 45 right behind there is Scott Manser. Now trying to get into the action as well. Coming from right up the back of the pack is in fact Dennis Booth. So he joins in the action for positions 2, 3, 4 and 5. Meanwhile, Jeff Shearer has cleared out from the rest of the pack. Bradley Peterson doing everything he knows to keep the door shut on car number 24. That's Dale Grother, who's got his hands full with the Datsun behind him in 45, Scott Manser. Dennis Booth would be the next one as they have a look on the outside this time. And a good drive into position number 2 goes Dale Grother. Bradley Peterson, no answer that time through as they head up the back chute. And again another lap on Tim Gaffel in car number 91. Jeff Shearer, he's been out in front all alone. Now trying to set sail after him will be Dale Grother. Car number 21 in there is Bradley Peterson. Dennis Booth trying to get up into some of the major action as Bradley Peterson now getting passed on the inside by Scott Manser. Dennis Booth will be close behind as well. And he goes up one more position, up into position number 4. The next one coming through would indeed be Bruce Thompson, the race leader. Clearly out in front, Jeff Shearer having a pretty easy drive out in front in the Fix-It Auto Wreckers Falcon car number 32. Him in 24 is Dale Grother. There's a bit of a battle on for position number 3 between Scott Manser and Dennis Booth. We've lost one on the infield. Right here in front of us, car number 38 is Bruce Thompson. As another time puts another lap on Tim Gaffel. Jeff Shearer's only to go. He's a clear leader as they head down the back chute for the last time. That's Jeff Shearer. He'll take the first checkered flag of the night for the improved sedans in front of Dale Grother. To finish in third position in front of Scott Manser. The next one home would have been Bradley Peterson in front of Jeff Jenkins. Mike Mason is car number 46. Rob McKay would have been the next one, and after a bit of a spin on the infield, Bruce. Thanks very much, A1. These are the imprint. He's got Mike Mason outside of him. And Dennis Booth tucked in there in position number 3. That'll be a better starting place for him. Jeff Shearer, as we said, won the first round of heats, and he's out of 4. Another good performer is Dale Grother out of the first round in car number 24. So look for a start this time as the green flag's being shown. Away and racing, and absolutely was Bruce Thompson, as the car just died on him the minute the light went green. That allows Mike Mason on the outside to go straight into the race lead. We've got one parked in between 1 and 2. Was Bruce Thompson. The Datsun is the race leader. So it's a bit like David and Goliath up the front. Mike Mason, but Jeff Shearer just drives straight around the outside in the Falcon. Car 71 has got himself in trouble here. And that will be Mike Mason out in front, with Jeff Shearer in close attendance, as is Dennis Booth. And away we go. Jeff Shearer straight down on the drive line into turn number 1, and will fighting back though on the outside is Mike Mason, and that's a bit of a good drive from him on the outside in the Datsun. Mike Mason is the race leader. 24 getting in there is Dale Grother. He wants a bit of this action. Jeff Shearer is the next one in 32, and Dennis Booth. Bradley Peterson in there as well. So a good battle up the front, and we got one sideways as Bradley Peterson with a whole lot of dust on the infield. Dale Grother has suffered some mechanical problem, and he pulls onto the infield and out of the race. We'll pick up the race leader for you as he heads down the back chute. And at the moment, that is Mike Mason. Dennis Booth is chasing him, and Jeff Shearer coming down the outside of Dennis Booth to go back into position number 2. The race leader is still Mike Mason, as Bradley Peterson's got the car mobile again. The one they're coming up on is car number 71. Is Andrew McCormack, and they all go around him. So Mike Mason's still the race leader. Jeff Shearer, the next one in their sights is young Bradley Peterson, and they all negotiate him. Dennis Booth is tucked in there as well. Jeff Shearer's looking for the outside pass as they head down the main chute, and is successful. So Jeff Shearer is the new race leader. Mike Mason, they're coming around to put another lap on car number 91. One going around again in turn 2 is Bradley Peterson, but our race leader way out in front. The action's back there for second and third between Mike Mason and Dennis Booth. Jeff Shearer, Mike still battle out for positions 2 and 3, and the other car now trying to get involved is in fact car number 45, and that's Scott Manser. Car number 71, it's just about had it, I'd say, as they go each side of him to put a lap down, and with him parked on the racetrack, that'll probably bring out a checkered flag, and hopefully they'll know he's there as they come around. Jeff Shearer takes it out. Second place will go to Booth. Third home in 46 would be Mike Mason. Dennis Booth in the Tirana. Car number 46 is back to Mike Mason. This is the improved sedans. As the improved sedans roll around for their third round, Michael Tudman's got the thing going. Let's hope it gets back into the race groove. Bradley Peterson is the one on the outside. With Rob McKay and Jeff Shearer in the second line, and Jeff Shearer's looking for the big pass down the outside as they're away and racing into the first corner. Bradley Peterson and Michael Tudman come together. Tudman straight into the wall, thank you. Bradley Peterson as well. Wow. No place for the faint-hearted. Into the first corner, Bradley Peterson and Michael Tudman come together. Tudman straight into the wall, thank you. Bradley Peterson as well. Ensuring that our drivers are looked after. But that was a very heavy impact along the back straightaway. It's the improved sedan shed again, and Michael Tudman and Jeff Shearer it is, settling down to fight this one out, but the Falcon has got the legs into turn number 1 and is the new race leader as Michael Tudman comes back on the inside, but Jeff Shearer is the race leader. Dennis Booth would be the next car in car number 28. '72, the car with the wing, is Rob McKay as they head down the back chute yet again, and Jeff Shearer is trying to make it 3 from 3 as he bounces this time through turn 1 and 2. Michael Tudman in a little bit of trouble coming off too. Has Dennis Booth going up the outside of him as they arrive at the canteen corner. Dennis Booth pulls out of that engagement. Jeff Jenkins is the car number 13. Joining in this little fracker for position number 2 is Jeff Shearer. Moving to the outside, goes through. Putting a lap on car number 91, Tim Gaffel. Dennis Booth is through into position 2. Michael Tudman now has Jeff Jenkins down on the inside of him. Tudman all out of shape in turn number 2 and wallops the wall, allowing Jenkins through into position number 3. Next one coming through will be Rob Mackay. The race leader, Jeff Shearer. In front of Dennis Booth. Car number 13 is Jeff Jenkins. Back then in 72 is Rob Mackay, and then we go back to Michael Tudman. Jeff Shearer, too good at the moment in the improved sedans. Over Dennis Booth, who gets it all wrong in turn 2. Car 13 is Jeff Jenkins. White flag out for Jeff Shearer. Dennis Booth, Jeff Jenkins, around Tim Gaffel yet again, and Jeff Shearer makes it 3 from 3. Dennis Booth comes home in 2, and car number 13, Jeff Jenkins. The car out there, don't worry about him, that's Mark Pagel. Power steering was the problem before with the car, that was all the smoke. I think they've rectified the situation, but they just like 1 or 2 laps behind this field to make sure everything is all right. Jeff Shearer was car number 32, 28 in there will be Dennis Booth. 46 is Mick Mason. Rob Mackay is the car with the wing. 45 is Scott Manser. This is the improved sedans feature event here tonight at Carina. And I can tell you after talking to the St John's ambulance people that Bradley Peterson is quite A-OK. And although he might be a little bit sore tomorrow morning. We'll be looking for a green one this time around. And one in the wall, right from the beginning, was in fact car number 72. Rob Mackay finding himself pointing straight in. They roll around, the lights have gone out, so it looks like we're going racing. In the improved sedans feature event here tonight. There's a one and away we go, this time with on the outside David Booth getting the better of the jump. Jeff Shearer stays down low, but David Booth got the Tirana heading in the right direction. In front of Jeff Shearer. Then back there to Mick Mason. Jeff Jenkins tucked in there as well, along with car number 45, that of Scott Manser. So close action at the front of the improved sedans. As Dennis Booth is the race leader over Jeff Shearer, and this is the only time he's been headed all night. Back in third place is Scott Manser in 45. The second of the Datsuns is 46, that's Mike Mason. He's about to pull onto the infield though with some form of mechanical problem. Jeff Jenkins is car number 13. Dennis Booth has kept his best for last and is starting to run away with the improved sedans feature event. Jeff Shearer is in second place. And then we go to Scott Manser. No change in the order at the front of the field, and no surprise they put a lap on Tim Gaffel. Dennis Booth is just going further and further away with this one. Has opened up a commanding lead. Jeff Shearer has succumbed to some mechanical problems. Takes the Falcon straight onto the infield, and that will have car number 45 inheriting second place. That's Scott Manser. Coming up to put another lap on Tim Gaffel. Though the Datsun of Scott Manser is in second place, and Jeff Jenkins is third. 24 up there looking for some of the action is Dale Grother. Race leader Dennis Booth has it easy out in front now, as Jeff Jenkins has a little bit of a look underneath Scott Manser. Not this time around. So the action's back here for second and third position. That's Scott Manser and Jeff Jenkins. Here comes our race leader, just careering away out in front. Scott Manser and Jeff Jenkins still battle out the minor placings. Jeff Jenkins has a look down the inside. Manser closes the door on him. And Dale Grother trying to get up to get into part of the action as well. Jenkins's car is starting to get a little bit hot. And that looks like that's the end of his challenge as the car overheats. Doing it easily out in front is Dennis Booth. Now quite comfortably in second place is indeed Scott Manser. And then comfortably in third is Dale Grother, as Jeff Jenkins' night is finished. Dennis Booth puts another lap down in the journey in the improved sedans. Around he comes. This is Dennis Booth, and he's a mile in front. Scott Manser is in second place and Dale Grother third. And that'll be the way they'll finish, barring any major mishap on the last lap. But here's our race winner. Dennis Booth first across the line. Second home is Scott Manser. And third to greet the judge would have been Dale Grother. Event just pops up regularly all the time here at Carina to take out this event. And takes out yet another feature event for his division of local cars here at Carina as the modified productions roll around for their event here tonight. 25 laps the journey. This is the Withcott Seedlings Trackwell Motor Bodybuilders modified production final. Man number 56 out of Gympie. No Neil Harm, no John Racco. Clinton Lawrence is the Caboolture car number 78. Darren Brims is the fuel-injected car number 75. That's the BP Ferry Street car from Maryborough. Car number 28 there is Aidan Raymond from the Karoi Auto Wreckers. Good to see Rob Leif back in the Datsun out there as well. Travis Hutchison is in car number 2. And Rick Hodges. Here's car number 8. Off and running, and as we predicted, bit of a close battle through turn number 2, but up the back straightaway, Paul Hussey, no problems at all in car number 39. Lester Wilcox is through into position number 2, and young Dennis Shellcross is battling hard back there in position number 3, but Darren Brims working away on the inside, trying to get enough racing room. Steve Thompson, will say, is in car 8. Aidan Raymond would be the next one in car number 28, back to Rob Leif. Travis Hutchison is in car number 2, and tailed off at the moment is Clinton Lawrence. The action all behind Dennis Shellcross. 3 wide as they arrive at turn number 1. Aidan Raymond down on the inside has squeezed the others out for room. We've got Steve Thompson and Dennis Shellcross coming together in turn number 2, locking bars together. Paul Hussey has Lester Wilcox very close to him now as they head down the main chute, taking the green flag. Paul Hussey, Lester Wilcox, Darren Brims in there along with Steve Thompson. They drift offline a little bit through turns 1 and 2. Very difficult to stay down low on turn 2 as Aidan Raymond starts to work his way back through the field. Paul Hussey. Lester Wilcox is the next one in front of Darren Brims. Steve Thompson. Robbie Leif's got through into position number 5. He's got Travis Hutchison behind him. Aidan Raymond also. Dennis Shellcross is there as around the outside. Comes Darren Brims to take the Commodore into position number 2 in front of Lester Wilcox. Back then to Steve Thompson. A bit of a gap back to Rob Leif in car number 46. Front of Travis Hutchison, who comes underneath him, gets it up on the infield, which is no place to be, gets out of shape, and Aidan Raymond will move down the inside of him and up one more position as the race leader is in the main chute. That's Paul Hussey, car number 39, running away with this one over Darren Brims. Lester Wilcox would be the next one in front of Steve Thompson. A long way back then to Robbie Leif. Aidan Raymond, Travis Hutchison, Dennis Shellcross and Clinton Lawrence. Another lap down on the journey for Paul Hussey, who's just moving right away from the rest of the field as they head down the back chute and look at putting a lap on Clinton Lawrence. The lapping flag out for him. Paul Hussey, a clear leader over Darren Brims, back to Lester Wilcox, Steve Thompson. Aidan Raymont's got through into the next position in front of Robbie Leif. Dennis Shallcross battling on. Behind him is Travis Hutchison, but very, very close to putting a lap on him as well as Paul Hussey moves underneath. Clinton Lawrence is about to have a lap put on him by Darren Brims and Lester Wilcox, who closes right up on Darren Brims, who looks for a way around the outside. Travis Hutchison's got it up on the wall. Darren Brims goes around Clinton Lawrence. Have a look at the lead for Paul Hussey. Probably the best part of the length of the straight over Darren Brims, who's now got Travis Hutchison in front of him, and he's got Lester Wilcox looking to go through underneath. Paul Hussey's got it won a long way out in front. Travis Hutchison moves over and allows Darren Brims through. He goes through to the better of Lester Wilcox. The next one home would have been Steve Thompson. Aidan Raymond would be the next one across the line. Then we go back to Robbie Leif in the Datsun, just completing the journey. But too good. Paul Hussey in the Karoy Engine Centre car. Leif on the outside in the big Nissan car number 46. Aidan Raymond, Karoy Auto Wreckers car number 28. He'll start out of 3. Darren Brims, BP Ferry Street car number 75. 78 is Clinton Lawrence from the Caboolture Club. 56 is Lester Wilcox, Gold City steering and suspension man out of Gympie. And a young Aidan Raymond, he'd be about 15 years old, I think. I hope I got the age pretty well close. He's out of 3, and Darren Brims is out of 4. Clinton Lawrence would be the next one. Lester Wilcox. Paul Hussey is there as well with Dennis Shallcross. Watch the charge on the outside, I think. That might be where it's going to come from. And there's a green one, and away we go. And Robbie Leif gets the better of the start, and here comes Aidan Raymond down on the inside. Travis Hutchison gets into position number 3. Aidan Raymond says, I want the race lead, and straight into the lead he goes as they head down the back chute. Darren Brims is the next one. Travis Hutchison comes up and gives Robbie Leif a little bit of a how do you do. Lester Wilcox is car number 56, Paul Hussey. Steve Thompson in front of Dennis Shallcross and Clinton Lawrence. The action is right up the front. Aidan Raymond, Darren Brims, Travis Hutchison, Lester Wilcox, Paul Hussey in there, Steve Thompson as well. Then we'll go through to Robbie Leif, who's been shuffled back through the pack a little bit. Paul Hussey looks for the outside pass on Lester Wilcox, not that time around. Aidan Raymond holds on to the race lead. Darren Brims is right on his hammer. Next one through now will be Lester Wilcox. Paul Hussey decides to go with him as they shuffle Travis Hutchison back through the field. Steve Thompson as Travis Hutchison turns it around in front of him. Somehow Steve Thompson avoided him. Coming right around the outside is Darren Brims. Down the main straightaway, and Darren Brims is the new race leader. Darren Brims in front of Aidan Raymond. Lester Wilcox. Hard on his hammer is Paul Hussey. Steve Thompson is a distant 5th, and then we go back to Robbie Leif, Dennis Shallcross, Clinton Lawrence, Travis Hutchison having problems keeping the car going in the right direction as Darren Brims moves around to try and put a lap on him. Travis Hutchison moves high. Darren Brims up alongside and drives straight past. Aidan Raymond will be the next one. Moves up on the inside. of Travis Hutchison. Drives by. Lester Wilcox will go to Aidan Raymond, gets out of line. Lester Wilcox looks for the passageway down the inside, it's not there. Paul Hussey would be the next car. They come around to Clinton Lawrence, put a lap on him. Darren Brims drives down the outside. He's opened up a big lead over Aidan Raymond. Lester Wilcox would be the next one, and Paul Hussey. Paul Hussey has a little bit of a look down the inside of Lester Wilcox that time around. White flag is out. Aidan Raymond moving up on the tail of Clinton Lawrence, wondering which way will he go in turn number 1 and 2. He looks to the outside, and Clinton Lawrence goes high and takes him up towards the boards. Lester Wilcox comes inside and then gets all out of shape, and Aidan Raymond eventually was the right way to go. Darren Brims is the winner. Aidan Raymond and Paul Hussey. So it'll be a big charge to the first corner because Lester Wilcox is there as well. Robbie Leif is car number 46. Dennis Shallcross is in 81. Into turn number 1, and Darren Brims gets the better of the jump on the inside, and he's got Aidan Raymond right behind him. Lester Wilcox would be the next one. Dennis Shallcross getting past Robbie Leif and Paul Hussey as well. Steve Thompson is in there likewise. Darren Brims running away in 75. Aidan Raymond without any answer at the moment. Neither does Lester Wilcox, who's a distant third, and Steve Thompson, who's a distant fourth. Next one would be Paul Hussey and Rob Leif. Then we go back to Dennis Shallcross and Clinton Lawrence. So they're well spread out as Darren Brims continues on his merry way out in the race lead. That's the BP Ferry Street car out of Maryborough. And if you're down Maryborough way, that's a good place to get your fuel. Talk to Darren Brims while you're there. Perhaps he'll show you the car. It's in the workshop most of the time, not that they're working on it. That's where it lives. Number 75, Darren Brims, doing it easily out in front. Karoi Auto Wreckers youngster Aidan Raymond. He's second. Fair way behind, but very comfortably in second. Lapping flag for Clinton Lawrence. Probably the only action at the moment in position 3 because Steve Thompson is getting a little bit closer to Lester Wilcox. He's got the back bumper panel dragging at the moment on the Nissan number 56. So just maybe Steve Thompson might be able to get close enough, and in fact drive straight past as they head down the back chute, and the back bumper panel has just about parted company in car number 56. Race leader Darren Brims a mile out in front. In fact, he's coming through the canteen corner for the last time to take the checkered flag. A distant second coming through the canteen corner now and getting it crossed up on the hard racetrack is Aidan Raymond, and third across the line will be Steve Thompson in front of Lester Wilcox, Paul Hussey. Alongside on the front row is Paul Hussey in the Karoi Engine Centre, car number 39. Lester Wilcox is the Gold City Steering and Suspension Skyline, number 56. Steve Thompson, the 81. I think we can take that. The winner will come out of the first 4 cars in this, I would think, after what's happened at the rest of the night. Darren Brims, Paul Hussey, Aidan Raymond, Lester Wilcox, Steve Thompson. Robbie Leif, Dennis Shallcross and Clinton Lawrence into turn number 1 and 2. Darren Brims takes on Paul Hussey on the outside, moves into the race lead as they head down the back chute. Darren Brims is the race leader in the Commodore. Paul Hussey in behind him. Aidan Raymond, Steve Thompson, Lester Wilcox. Dennis Shallcross in 81, Clinton Lawrence and Robbie Leif having some problems with car number 46 as they head down the back chute. Darren Brims gets it a little offline, but then asks for some more power out of the Commodore as he goes through turn 1 and 2 and down the back chute. In front of Paul Hussey, Aidan Raymond in position number 3. In front of Steve Thompson, Lester Wilcox. And these cars have careered out from the rest of the field. Dennis Shallcross is 81. Clinton Lawrence and Robbie Leif battle out the last position on the racetrack, and Rob Leif gets through as the race leader heads down the main chute, not all that far behind them. That's Darren Brims, and he's starting to run away with this one. Paul Hussey, no answer. Aidan Raymond's got his hands full with Steve Thompson as they arrive at the canteen corner. Lester Wilcox has been dropped off that. Dennis Shallcross is still trying hard at the back of the pack. Darren Brims, though, starting to make every post a winner as he comes up on Rob Leif to put a lap on him. Does it easily. Paul Hussey, no answer. Getting under Clinton Lawrence is Aidan Raymond. The next one is Steve Thompson, who sneaks by as well, and Lester Wilcox. Dennis Shallcross is still chasing hard in car number 81. But a big lead now for the injected Commodore of Darren Brims over Paul Hussey, Aidan Raymond, Steve Thompson and Lester Wilcox. Steve Thompson has got young Aidan sideways. Up on the infield he goes. Well, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He did give Aidan a bit of a whack, but he tried to pull out of it. Lester Wilcox there as well. Robbie Leif moves up. They're a lap down. Up on the inside of Robbie Leif. And giving Lester Wilcox plenty down the back straight, so I have no idea what he's doing. He's a lap down. Lights are out. Watch for the restart as Darren Brims leads them down the main chute. Paul Hussey right on his hammer now, has a look down the inside, can't do it. Aidan Raymond in close attention as well, and Lester Wilcox through the canteen corner. Darren Brims, Paul Hussey, Aidan Raymond, Lester Wilcox. Life would be the next one in front of Dennis Shallcross and Steve Thompson. The laps winding down in the street sedan feature for Darren Brims in front of Paul Hussey, Aidan Raymond, Lester Wilcox. Steve Thompson trying desperately to get back up towards the front of the field where he was before the mishap. But Darren Brims is driving away again from Paul Hussey, Aidan Raymond, Lester Wilcox. Dennis Shallcross has got some problems. Keeps going as Darren Brims comes up on the tail of Clinton Lawrence, who's all over the racetrack. Brimsy gives him what for. Wants to get by in a hurry. And he's got some panel work to do on the during the week. And Clinton Lawrence has managed to get himself involved with the pursuing Paul Hussey. Now he's got on the infield. So he got in the road of the race leader and he got the second place car as well. Paul Hussey's got it mobile. He'll get back in front of Lester Wilcox. Steve Thompson. Robbie Leif still running around, as is Paul Hussey, who joins in. Green flag waiting for Darren Brims. As they restart the event, Darren Brims moving straight away from Aidan Raymond. Lester Wilcox, Steve Thompson, Paul Hussey. Aidan Raymond unable to stick closely to Darren Brims, and Darren Brims opened up a bit of a lead early in the event. The white flag, only one to go. Darren Brims in front of Aidan Raymond. Lester Wilcox will be in third. Paul Hussey battling to get back up towards the front of the field. But Darren Brims takes it out. There he is, folks. He's got a bit of panel work to do after trying to get by one of the lap cars. But Darren Brims, it is car number 75. He won the Street Sedan Series early in the year. Takes it out from the ever-improving Aidan Raymond in position 2, and Lester Wilcox into position number 3, and Paul Hussey would be